Hey, it is Williams Podcast Live with me, Williams. I appreciate your time you put in to watch and listen to whatever we put on this podcast, Williams Podcast Live. And today we precisely come to give our opinion on Bebe Cool's son, Allan Hendrick, and what people say about Bebe Cool's failure to put him on a certain level in as far as promotion is concerned. Many people say, believe, have opinions about Allan Hendrick and his father, one baby button, Bebe Cool. Several opinions have come out suggesting that probably Bebe Cool has failed totally to make things right for Allan Hendrick to go miles, to go travel miles in as far as promoting him as a music brand and his music as a whole. Kutandise mbaniriza mwena basinzidde jemuli mwebali nnyo mwebali ddala eno ye Williams Podcast Live. Of course, the topic majorly is about what is it in as far as an opinion is concerned from me, Williams. You know, it is tricky. It is really tricky when it comes to a father and a son. When a father's played football and it's time for the son who also loves football to shine. In this case, Bebe Cool is a music artist and the son also showed interest, and of course he's talented, that is my opinion. He showed interest in going the same direction of his father in as far as practicing music is concerned. But now Uganda are like, Bebe Cool is failing on promoting his son's music. This is my opinion. We all know that one Baby Banton is a son of a former minister who also a leader of a political party, that is Honorable Bidandi Sali. And one of the issues and challenges that has Bebe Cool has faced is belonging or being a son to a minister. One of the challenges, of course, his entire career. Actually, during the days, the early ages of his career, Bebe Cool has had issues and challenges where people have told him face off and accused him of being a son to a minister. You remember that line in one of the songs, nti ye wana wana, nti ndi mwana wa minister, kumbe oli yala, yala yala. That was a good one to me and it worked. It was a blessing in disguise for our one Baby Banton. Later on, I'll go back to Allan Hendrick. People started demeaning and frustrating and doing whatever it means to Bebe Cool, telling him how poor he was, how weak he was financially. And you remember another one of the guy has taken long to put up a structure. He's not having a house. You remember the days when they had head-ons with Dr. Jose Chameleon and Awan Bobby Wine. One of the things that his competitors fans used to throw at his face was, you don't have a house. In my opinion, that was also a good one to separate Bebe Cool from Mr. Bidandi Sali's path. Mulokoleka nkikuvunulire. Bebe Cool bwazenga asanga ebizibu bya challenges za oli mwana wa minister, ekyo yali tajja kuyitawo. Because byonna byakivinze bandigambyenga ate kyandiganiddewa nga mwana wa minister. Era bandigambye oyo yeesimye kubanga mwana wa minister yensonga lwaki asobodde okwachivinga ebyo byonna byakoze eki byakivinze. Kati kitegeeza Bebe Cool gye baakoma ba competitors be okumugamba nti nedda weewaana nti oli mwana wa minister naye oli yala. It was a good thing, a blessing in disguise. And also Bebe Cool not becoming complacent or laying back, but instead worked hard. Later on, he made it definitely as a music artist, and undeniably is one of the big stars we have in Uganda. So now, working hard made him pursue his own path of progress and success. Now, it is hard to find one saying that Bebe Cool is successful because Mr. Bidandi Sali or Honorable Bidandi Sali was once a minister. No. Now, we single out Bebe Cool as a human being who has practiced music as an art and music as entrepreneurship. Nga tetumutaddeko chiri. Point yange is kyayamba Bebe Cool okujja nakola ekiche. Era n'ekirala nekimuyamba inajja nga tayitidde mu byabufuzi, ekirala natajja ku capitalizingira ku linnya lya mukulu Bidandi Sali kubanga bali bamukubiddewo. Ekyamuyamba mu ekyo nti bajja ne bagamba nti you claim to, of course he's not claiming, he's the son to Honorable Bidandi Sali. You say, okay, that you a son of a minister or a former minister, but you broke, man. That was a good one, and I believe is one of the reasons Bebe Cool worked hard to where he is now. Katudde kwa Allan Hendrick. Allan Hendrick and Bebe Cool we wali akatu. Many people are like, Bebe Cool is not doing enough. But remember, in Bebe Cool's house, they have a recording and a production section. People call a studio. If they have a production house or section or department in one of their apartments, it means Allan Hendrick is lucky enough. Why? The father, Awan Bebe Bant and Bebe Cool, when started doing music or recording music, had to travel all the way to Kenya. He had to go to Kenya with colleagues like Jose Chameleon, where they maneuvered through tides and tooth and nail until they came back and miraculously made it in Uganda. And Allan Hendrick, at this particular time, is having a production house in one of their apartments or houses or whichever. Which means that is step one. Compared to one Baby Banton who was a son of a minister, never got a chance of having a production house in one of the houses of Mr. Bidandi Sali. He had to travel to Kenya. And Allan Hendrick has an opportunity and a chance of having a production house, a structure or infrastructure operating system put up by his father. Having connections to producers and songwriters like Ronnie Bushington and many others. Having some even connections to media personalities who can expose his content or give him platforms to communicate himself and expose himself better or express himself better. Kiki kyengezako kulaga mulokole on Williams podcast regarding Bebe Cool akoze enough for Allan Hendrick. Yes, nti Allan should work out himself towards success nga talinze Bebe Cool. Nti bwalinda nga Bebe Cool yakubira William. Hello William, nsaba onyizanyire ku limba lwa Hendrick. Kijja kusumbuwa Allan lwaki tajja kusobola kweyubula na kola bibye yengo omuntu. I'll give you an example. Juliana Kanyomozi has a young sister called Laura Kahunde. Laura is talented musically. She does films, she does acting. People later on just go to learn about sisterhood of Juliana and Laura Kahunde. If from the start Laura Kahunde presented herself as a sister to Juliana Kanyomozi, chances are many that she would fail. Why? Abantu bamanya nti oyinayo omuntu omunene olumu balemererwa okuyamba. Baagala okukama oyo omunene gwoyina. Juliana yabatukubira. Juliana babere. Omwana oyo ayimbanga sister we. Omwana oyo ayimbanga sister we. Omwana oyo afaanana sister we. And the more they say afaananga sister we, ayimbanga sister we, bagana okutunuulira gwe ng'omuntu. Era abantu bonna abayise mu paths z'abantu baabwe agaana yo okuvaayo. Sandy Eddie singa teyagenda kutwala education ye yafuna ebungereza n'awalala najja n'akola West End n'atandika otunnyonnyola bunnyonnyozi bannayinze gwola abandi muganda wa Andrew Benon Kibuuka yandiganye okuzimba ekisu ekice. You remember when Allan Hendrick released some music, the issue was about his husky voice resembling his father's voice. It is fine, of course. He's the same biology, is the same blood and same genes. Chances are that guy ajja kuvayo nga soundinga nga kitaawe. But awo wonna waaliwo omutawaana omuzibu nga wali walina okubaawo omuntu ajja okujja ashapinge Allan Hendrick to be defined and right from the father's umbrella or wings. Nti bo sounding the same as the father wadde mulina genes, biology, omuna ebirala byonna byonna. Kati ffe abali mu media naddala nga Bebe Cool yatusindize omwana tumulabanga Bebe and tutandika okutunuulira Bebe ne Allan Hendrick as a unison brand. Agamba oba nkubeerwa Allan Hendrick Allan Hendrick asounds nga kitaawe ne kankubeewo love you every day. Ebyo byonna bikola sabotaging his growth. My opinion is that Allan Hendrick, with all the opportunities at least available for him, he should just harness those opportunities, especially right from the production house. His father had challenges with the likes of Chameleon. By the time they started doing music, there were no production houses or studios. Here you come, Chitawa in a studio munyumba, and the same munyumba you have writers, you have producers, executive producers, Bushington Cargoda, you have the Bronies, you have many, even the remixes can do you music. And according to the music I listened to, or referring to the music he released, that is Allan Hendrick, he has potential. Question is, how Allan Hendrick plans, or how can he harness the opportunities? How can he use the potential he has to the fullest to push, to punch himself, to stretch his muscles forward? Nga talowoozezza ku One Baby Banton, and remember One Baby Banton is a distinct brand who is also still in practice, who is still active and currently having a big music album and is on a world tour. I've watched his session on a podcast with Galaxy TV, having an interaction with Mr. Henry. If your father is still pushing on hard, the only thing you need to do is to utilize whichever resources, be it financial or infrastructure, and the ecosystem, the operating system, to also plan for yourself. You can just need to pick leaves of knowledge, understanding, and wisdom from him, guidance from him on how you can make things better your way. So point here, olemeddwa okulabirira mutabani wo, nze ndowooza tetuba fair eri a One Baby Banton. And let us look at who has more opportunities and their the respective journeys, Alpha and Allan Hendrick. I don't think Bebe Cool has built a field or a playground or an arena of football for Alpha. I don't think Bebe Cool has a football academy for Alpha. I don't think Bebe Cool has a football club. I don't think Bebe Cool has a company producing jerseys and things to do with games and sports or athletics or football in particular. But fortunately, the guy has a production house for both visuals and audio, which is a more plus for Allan Hendrick. My opinion is probably Allan is not doing some stuff the right way. Aina kutunuulira kitaawe n'amuyigirako buyigize. How come my father akyasobola okubeera relevant now? You remember Bebe Cool crossed from the side we would expect him to belong to politically when he chose not to follow his father's steps never belonged to his father's political party, chose to follow General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the NRM, who has been following and supporting and putting loyalty to. Kitegeeza Bebe Cool naga taata oli taata ebyobufuzi ngera bivuga ne NRM ne Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Ati kitegeeza Bebe Cool aba yedefininga ng'omuntu. Ekibuuzo kiri nti Allan Hendrick osaze magezi ky'okwedefininga, especially ng'oli above 18. Another thing I'll add to what I've said so far is that, again, people also are using that issue of Bebe Cool has failed to push his son. They're, in my opinion, probably just doing public, propaganda and politics around Bebe Cool's brand. Chendowooza omanyi omuntu asobola kugamba wa singa obadde wakabi lwaki ewamwete mulya nnyama, singa obadde wakabi lwaki temwalidde mukyere jjo. Kakati kyobola nti Bebe Cool buli bwaba nga adduka miles is regarding international progress, they're like, you failed on pushing Rema to the international scene. And Bebe Cool will be like, if she stayed, she would be better than Tiwa Savage, and that is subject to public scrutiny and debate. And as the guy is trying to push his feet forward, they're like, what also are you making? What are you making? Allan Hendrick. They are totally different brands. However, having the same biology, the same genes. Nze akadingi dikenkutira Allan kemuwa kalikamu. Tata we amuyigireko, ye pushingenga ye. Lwaki asobola okubelonginga ku mulembe guno ogwaba Dax vibes. Another good example is about the Kyagulanyi family. Area where does salsa, bossa nova, and rumba, loosely called band. Bobby Wine does raga, dance, music, rap, name it. Area we had the Dream Studios. Dream Studio, area we had nacha asobola kukolera nnyo Bobby Wine until Bobby Wine kyeyali asobola okwekolera ye ng'omuntu kwedefininga okuba his style, approaches. Muganda we namuyamba ne infrastructure, ne operating system wa operating ila wa recording ila. Later on he built up his Firebase Studios. Same thing with Dax Vibes. The Dax Vibes wade ba mukulu we wamanyi political and musical. Dax Vibes we andi sigadda nga atugamba bugambi people power ekyandi tekimuwa music. Byansigadda nga atugamba ndi muganda wa Bobby Wine kyandwadde tekimuwa music. Byansigadde nga atugamba ndi muganda wa Mickey Wine Banjo Mani ne Eddie we kyandwadde tekimuwa music. Paka bwasazeewo n'agamba I'm supposed to define my own path. Let me associate with Swangs Avenue, associate with the other PC, then me associate Paka Dax Vibes era bwa maneuvering through tides okusobola okukimakinga nti Dax Vibes abantu bamutunulira na politically kuba mwani gambi oyo Dax Vibe tibaja muwagira kubanga ali mu Muganda w'ebyofuzi no. People are receiving him considering the music he produces. So Allan Hendrick, probably there are other issues that hinder him from going progressing forward musically. Na ye aina kukozesa the opportunity eziri around for him okusobola okweyongerayo n'atalemera. Kwecho, in my next episode about Bebe Cool, I've watched a clip of him and Mr. Henry dissecting a budget for his music album and world media tour. Is it viable? Is it applicable? Is it possible? Of course, at the $700 US, around 2 billion Uganda shillings. Chikirizika. One question is, if it is possible for Asher Raymond and Drake and other international artists or African artists like D'banj, Burna Boy, Shatta Wale, Stone Boy, Sakode, Black Coffee, how come same thing cannot happen in terms of the budget? Abambagamaha Rastangachi Wanisenyo. I'll come with my opinions. But for now, it is Williams Podcast Live with me, Williams. Thank you very much for keeping it here. That is my opinion regarding Allan Hendrick and his father's failure or alleged claims of failure to push his son forward. Thank you very much. Goodbye.